Hi everyone, welcome back to Luke and Friends. I'm your host Luke Paron, and my friend joining me today is a gear maker for international wrestling superstars. He's provided designed and manufactured gear for wrestlers across Impact, AEW, GCW, NXT, indies all across the board, and he is also an indie wrestler himself, wrestling across Canada. My friend today, none other than the Sway Archer.
Hello.
Hi. So, if you guys don't know who Sway Archer is, and you're on wrestling Twitter, I don't know what you're doing because you've built up quite not a fan base, but you're very active in the community.
I'm always sort of touchy on what to consider my followers other than a following, because it's like, is it a dedicated fan base? No, because a good chunk of them are there for various reasons, whether they're there to just have me as somebody they can look up very easily to get gear from, whether it's wrestlers I've met, whether it's wrestlers who I haven't met but have followed me for some reason. Like Xavier Woods follows me, never met the guy, stuff like that. So it's definitely not all a fan base, but I like to think I have a good chunk of fans strewn throughout.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll get into that, but I'm sure we know where a lot of that fan base comes from and why different followers have come from different areas and stuff like that. But so you're super active online and in the wrestling community. Me and Tempest last week had a discussion about the phrase, the IWC, and what we think of it and all that. Oh, yes. But even though I don't really buy into the whole concept of an IWC, well, we can say that for the.
When you say the concept, what do you mean?
People are just like, I don't consider myself a part of it, but I think other people would. I think I don't consider myself a part of it because I don't actively engage with a lot of people in it, other than people I'm actually like literally friends with.
I'd agree with that.
You such as like Tempest, you, Alex, and there's like Impact wrestlers I'll like have a little back and forth with and stuff like that. Yeah. But like I just don't buy into the concept of the IWC because I think because the term community is there, which is it's certainly not that. It's like a rancid campground of people who want to like punch each other in the face. Usually that's how I would describe it.
I always knew the IWC as a pejorative.
I don't know what that word means.
Oh, like a negative term. It was sort of a
that's
sort
fair.
of a slur, less than a slur, but you know what I mean. Thrown against anybody who was on back in the day forums. Yeah, and then now Twitter, God forbid Facebook. The Facebook IWC is worse than any other platform's IWC because it's not as much stan culture, which is what most people point to as the bad part of Twitter.
But
it's
true.
Just like,
well, I was saying to Tempest last week, if you have a WWE wrestler as your profile picture, well, like one of like the big 10, like if you have like Vader as your profile picture, I wouldn't be like, oh, like what? Come on. But if like Sasha Banks or like Roman Reigns,
like
Brock Lesnar,
Sasha, Roman, Liv Morgan is a big one that people have as their profile picture. Yeah, and it's like I'm hesitant to engage with you because I don't know how this is going to go.
I find the Liv Morgan profile pics the least intolerable of the bunch. I'll say that.
They're funniest. They're definitely the funniest of the bunch. But I'll give them that.
Yeah. So when I say IWC, I just don't buy into it because I think I'm fans of a lot of. I talk to a lot of Stephen King fans on Twitter, but that doesn't mean we're part of some group together.
The sense of community isn't there because if somebody comes out of the blue and attacks us, the collective us that doesn't really exist, there's no sense of community, there's no sense of bonding together. Wrestling gets attacked all the time from people outside of wrestling, and half of the IWC is like, yeah, I know you're right. we are trash.
So it's I was talking to them too, and I was like, I'm curious to hear your takes on it. What do you think it is about wrestling that has this sort of like implied tribalism to it? Because with other communities, you don't see I don't know, like any random hobby, you don't see a lot of the kayak community going at it so viciously of like, oh, you chose this kayak over that kayak. Like, what do you think it is about wrestling that breeds this sort of like tribalism in online interactions?
I think wrestling falls to the same pitfall that I would say like Star Trek, right? Not Star Wars, because the distinction is wrestling is broadly accessible. It's in the mainstream. It's on television. People can come across it easily. However, it is not mainstream accepted. People do not care. People do not see it and go, oh, I kind of like that, or like, I'll watch it if it's on.
Yeah.
Whereas like, same thing with Star Trek. You can access Star Trek. It's around. But you're not really a fan of it. You probably couldn't reference anything from any of the movies. Whereas Star Wars, you can. Most
That's
people
true.
can remember
Yeah.
seeing a Star Wars movie and stuff like that. You just kind of know Star Trek exists. Just like you kind of know that wrestling exists. But if you don't like it, that leads to people not accepting it, and sometimes deliberately like shitting on it to boost up whatever they do. And that leads to some of the more dedicated fans being very, very apprehensive and defensive and like, no, this is our thing. We like this, and you've brought it up, so we're going to have to defend it. Kayaks don't get mentioned.
That's true. I guess that's a much more niche category.
Yeah.
And I think, too, it's interesting that you use Star Trek and Star Wars as examples here, because Tempest did as well, but in a different talking point.
Oh.
And we were talking about WWE versus AEW interactions on Twitter and stuff like that, and how like out of hand those get. It's like
terrible.
So ridiculous. And we were talking about Star Wars and Star Trek as that debate as well. But yeah, I think luckily I'm much more apt to respond to people on like r/squared circle or like AEW New Japan or something like that. Yeah. Just because a lot of people, I don't know. I guess because on Twitter too, you're limited in characters, so people just want to say like, "Fuck you, here's my point." Whereas if I'm like reading like a Reddit thread or something like that, someone can have like, "Well, I don't quite agree with you," and like give you like a good reasoning why. Whereas on Twitter, it's like they have to try and like own you in like a second, right?
People are doing think pieces on Reddit, and that's normal. If you do a think piece on Twitter and it takes like 10 tweets, you're gonna get the fucking, I'm not reading all that shit.
Yeah, a thread's almost like a waste of time on Twitter, because you're like, if they cared enough to read this, they probably wouldn't have responded so like aggressively in the first place, Yeah,
you can run threads on your own time, but if you're running a thread as to try and rebuttal someone's point directly to them, you're gonna get a very low ROI. Nobody's gonna read that, and you probably put more time into it than anybody's gonna spend reading it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's not worth it.
So I think and so being someone who's on Twitter so much, how do you sort of do you find it difficult to balance like who you want to present yourself as? Because like me there was a time where I made a personal Twitter that was like privated, where I could just say all the goofy stuff I wanted. Then after a while I was like, fuck it, because I wanted to make it was actually right when I was getting hired or like going through the hiring process with Impact. I was like, I need to clean up my Twitter a ton. And I deleted like the obvious stuff, like, everyone knows I love Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, like my favorite wrestlers ever. And like going through back, I was like, I've probably said some like very goofy things. If I'm working like in an environment with wrestlers, they probably like wouldn't want to like be like, is this how this guy thinks? Like, no, I'm just being funny on Twitter, right?
It's just jokes, but you gotta imagine it without context.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna go back and like delete a bunch of stuff. And then once I got hired, I was like, you know what? Because I'm gonna be interacting with wrestlers now, I want myself to be presented as like I'm only gonna post photos and like business related stuff. And then like 3 weeks into it, I was like, you know what? It's my Twitter. I just like having fun and talking to people. So that balance I was trying to find of presenting myself as this like hyper professional, super cool artistic photographer. I was like, you know what? I don't care about that. I'm just going to be me. And if people want to follow me, they can. If they don't, they don't. So how do you, as someone who, this is more about branding, I guess, than how people perceive you, but find that balance between like brand of I'm a wrestler, book me. Also, I'm a gear maker, and also just being a personality. Like, do you find people, it's challenging where people might think of you only as a gear maker?
That's something that I definitely worry about when it comes to what I do and how I do it. There's a lot of things that I've probably drafted and deleted because it implies that gear making is all I ever want to do, which it's not. while I love it, it is like, if you gave me the option of working for the exact same amount of money, working as a contracted wrestler or working as a gear maker, I'm taking contracted wrestler 10 days out of 10. Like, so that is something that I've had to worry about more with what I say. And that's why I sort of keep my specific Instagram for that.
Yeah.
For all of the, like, posting everything I make and all that sort of stuff. I don't post everything I make on Twitter. 9 times out of 10, what I'll do is I'll just let whoever I make it for post it and tag me, and then I'll retweet it. Maybe I'll quote tweet it and say, like, oh, this was actually a really fun piece to do, or something like that. And that sort of keeps me from my box being like gear maker and only gear maker. When it comes to personality, I never had a problem with that before. I may have a problem with it in a bit because I have to figure out what I'm doing going forward and how to tweet as me. Because I use Twitter for fun.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like how to tweet as me and then separate that from any potential character I want to do.
Yeah.
Because while a lot of people are like, your wrestling character should just be you turned up to 11. That's great. The better advice is, what does the company or companies that you want to get hired by, what do they have? Are you different enough from that?
Yeah.
And me as a person, I wasn't. So it's like, okay, we got to start pivoting and you got to start going in different directions with these things. And that, unfortunately, does not lend itself to the constant jokes and jabs that I make on Twitter. So will I balance it? Who knows? I have to figure that out.
Yeah, and I think going back to that too, I think like a lot of, this is like a hyper example, but like a lot of people, like the illusion was just shattered when The Undertaker was on Twitter. And now the illusion's been shattered triple, like 10 billion fold with everything, you know, he's doing and stuff like that, like showing up at concerts like in costumes and like doing all these ridiculous things. But like Abaddon's a good example where Abaddon, they post like all like their in character like pictures and stuff like that, and that's kind of all they do. Like you don't see Abaddon on Twitter like having like fun little back and forth, or if they do, it's like still like in character, like with a flair of like fun to it, I guess.
Yeah, I especially the TikToks I've seen of Abaddon, it is what they are doing is character, and then at the end of it, it's like slightly dialed back for fun.
Am I imagining this, or does Abaddon have an in-character OnlyFans?
No clue.
I think I might have seen Abaddon. Maybe it's someone else, but someone who has a weird sort of character like that posted like an OnlyFans ad, but they were like in their weird like wrestler makeup, and I'm like, that's kind of cool, actually.
I've never seen it. Abaddon's not somebody that I follow on social media, and like
nor do I. I just
like
see their stuff,
especially
my timeline.
So, yeah, I wouldn't know, but that. It wouldn't surprise me if something like that happened. Maybe not specifically with Abaddon, but in general, if somebody was like using their spooky gimmick or whatever to elevate that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Plus, too, I guess if like, you know, if you're into that and you see Abaddon's like weird character and you're like, oh, I'm into weird zombie things now. It's like,
yeah,
she'll be like, fuck yeah, okay.
Power to you.
Capitalize on that. So if it's not Abaddon, sorry to disappoint everyone watching this, but I'm sure I'll have some graphic
furiously
flash
Googling.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's interesting, yeah. But anywho, yeah, fair enough. So let's talk about when you had like a massive influx of Twitter followers and interactions. I only loosely followed it. Break down the Faye trial for me from like top to bottom, because I tuned in. I tried to Google. I read some Fightful reports. I was like, okay, wait, what happened here? I was like, they promised a nude photo or something spicy if someone lost, and it didn't happen, and you host this Twitter space.
So the Faye trial was not when I actually first got my first influx. It was the trial before that. It was the trial of
See, I didn't even know there was one.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
and this goes back to Sway wanting to be a lawyer too.
Yes. Cameron Hawkins.
We've got the Better Call Saul mug today, everyone.
Yeah, which is funny because I have not watched that show.
So today's the mid-season finale of the final season, and Sway's got the For the
they've called it. It's done.
Yeah, 6 seasons.
Okay.
Which is crazy. It went longer than Breaking Bad,
which only went 3.
5.
Oh my god, it went 5?
Yeah,
oh,
but
wow.
What's crazy is when Better Call Saul was announced, everyone was like, "Oh, a spinoff about Saul, like the fun little lawyer," and then you're like, "Oh, this guy has the craziest, like, most heartfelt backstory," and it went longer than the show it was inspired by. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's the finale today. Sway's got the All Stars, not All Stars,
Drag Race mug.
Season 9, 10. It's got Evie Oddly on there and Aja, so whatever seasons they were on. But
I'm bad with that.
Yes, and All Star 7 just came out, so that mug is very appropriate. Anyways, Better Call Saul, lawyer. You host a trial of Seahawk.
I didn't host it. So Smiley.
Oh, okay.
Basically, when we started doing these trials, if I remember correctly, it started as a joke. It started as, man, you guys suck. We got to put you on trial for all the terrible things that you're doing on Twitter, besmirching the space, making us all have to view your terrible escapades that you get up to day in and day.
Corrupting the IWC further.
Right? Yeah.
You got to protect the sanctity of that.
The IWC, but also Black Wrestling Twitter more broadly, especially with Cam. So the first one was this trial with Cam. If I remember correctly, he was at Sunday Brunch, as Cam is known for Sunday Brunch. Cam is the king of Sunday Brunch. He was with a Latina, but for what most people saw, white woman. Plain Jane by A$AP Ferg was playing, and she, whilst singing the song, lip-synced or said, you can't tell it's a loud video, said the N-word in the song.
Okay.
Now, they put him on trial for this. Don't know why, don't know how it came about, but what had happened was Sugar Dunkerton, Shug D, ended up as the defense attorney. They were like, we need a prosecutor. I'm like, I got this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I got this.
And I got the charisma, that's what counts.
Man, I threw out all the legal jargon that I knew. I pulled up things that I actually knew from legal things that I was involved with, because I've got my smart serve.
Oh, okay.
So with the whole thing being a Sunday brunch thing, the topic of intoxication came up. I threw every law about intoxication I knew on the books. It was all Ontario law, but like I was saying it in regards to Texas to try and make it seem relevant. That trial space got like 700 something viewers, if not more.
Nice.
And I probably netted a couple hundred followers from that. And that was like one of the central things that I could tie to everything blowing up. The Faye trial, which wasn't long after, I want to say less than 3 months. The Faye trial, Faye basically said in her long-term amicable feud with Big E from WWE, if Big E's not winning this match, if Big E wins this match, I'll drop a nude on the timeline. I don't even care. He's not winning. It's not happening. And then, of course, he won. And everybody was just kind of like...
It's like when Doja Cat said they were going to drop the nudes if their song hit platinum. And then
Man!
They did not.
Everybody was so mad. And the same thing. People were like, well, and then Faye put out a nude palette, like a nude makeup palette.
I remember that.
And that was sort of where everybody was like, man, come on. And it was like, all right,
that's
whatever.
where the legal gray area comes in.
Whatever, we'll allow it.
A nude,
and some people were just on that same, wow, whatever, we'll allow it. It's not that serious, right? And then some people were like,
not that serious.
Trial. We need another. It's been too long.
Yeah,
I want to have fun. So that trial got a ton. I want to say upwards of 1,000. I don't remember exact numbers.
I do remember it being huge. Like
yeah. Trended like number 2?
Yes.
Or something at the time?
That was like the shocking thing to me, because I was like, I thought it was like a real like criminal trial.
No,
and I was
not
like,
the people versus Faye Jackson.
I was like,
not real.
What's this? I was like, a court case trending #1 or something. And I was like, what the fuck is Sway Archer doing? Some court trial. And I was like, oh, it's a joke. Oh, I see.
All just one big gaffe. So that one drew quite a lot more attention because...
And there were like huge names in there. Like I saw Xavier Woods was listening in and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so Swole at that point was I think the defense. This is all going to seem really stupid because it's not real. But
Yeah.
Swole was like the defense attorney for Faye, and I think Suge was the prosecutor this time. And I was like sort of like an underling. If you've been watching, if you watch any major trial, there's never just one attorney.
Yeah.
There's always like several. So I was like one of like
There's a word for it. Paralegals.
paralegals, if that's what it is.
Or I think they actually do a lot of like the paperwork filing and like document
Yes.
requests and stuff.
I was one of like the underlings.
Okay.
So it was like Suge was there, Swole was there, Tasha Steeles was
Yeah.
the judge, AJ Gray was the bailiff. You know, all of this. So all of these names drawing attention in.
Tasha Steeles, the Impact World Champion in there.
True. Prior, but before the titles, I ended up getting a lot more than I should have out of that because at some point, Smiley, who had been hosting these previous ones, either internet connection or phone crashed.
Oh.
So I ended up hosting the second half or whatever it was.
That's what I remember seeing. I saw you were hosting it. That's when
Yeah.
I joined in because it said that your friend Sway Archer was hosting a space.
Yes.
So that's when I got notified.
Yeah, I ended up hosting the second half of it, and having 1,000+ people in there, they're following, Swole or AJ or Tasha or Suge or Faye just from the get go. They end up following me because they're like, well, this guy's hosting it. I don't know anything about him, but he's also followed by everybody in this space. There's got to be something. He's got to be something here. Maybe
Yeah.
they know him or whatever. I'll never understand the tangential following of like, oh, well, I know nothing about this person, but 5 of the people I follow them. So I'm going to follow them. It's like, I could just be like a caterer.
Yeah,
Like,
I think some of that comes to just
I don't
hoping
get it.
for a connection or hoping for something like
And
that. Yeah.
maybe I one day am giving out tickets to an event, whatever. But that's how that came about. And then also there was a sort of after space, and that after space, D'Lo Brown drops in,
Hey.
does like an impromptu seminar for everybody. Literally came in. I want to say it was 2 a.m. It was late at night. Comes in and goes, you know what? I'm glad you guys came together as a community, blah, blah, blah. It's really cool that you guys can put stuff like this together, draw such a big audience. If anybody has questions about how to make it somewhere in wrestling, I'll be here for like an hour or so if anybody wants to ask any questions.
Damn, what a great guy.
Yes.
I just met him for the first time at Rebellion.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, that was crazy because every Monday morning there's like a department head meeting. So like the head writers and head of talent relations and all that. So it's like, I remember my first time in that meeting, I was so shocked because it's like Scott D'Amore, Gail Kim, Tommy Dreamer, D'Lo Brown, and then there's like all the writers.
So like Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then there's like the digital department, which is just like guys like me, right? So we're
Just guys.
There is like a department head of digital, and he's awesome. But I guess there's like sub department heads because I'm like our only editor, right?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so it's like I should be there because I'm like the one guy who's going to be doing all the editing. So I'm like I'm the head of my own one-man department here because digital has like the web designer is part of digital. It's a very small department. It's like the web designer, the guy who manages linear feeds, the guy who does impact.com, and then there's me, and that's kind of it.
Not even social?
Oh, social.
Social
Yeah,
on
we
those
do have
things, yeah.
socials as well. So that's kind of it. So we're all in that as well. So it was crazy when I joined the meeting the first time because I was like looking around the digital room at all these names, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing in here? So then I got to meet all these people and just through voice and stuff, because we never have our cameras on because it's like Monday morning and a lot of people are traveling or flying. Yeah. So anyways, when I went to Rebellion, I like was meeting everyone, and Gail and D'Lo were like, "Oh, I recognize your voice. You're Luke." And I'm like,
"Oh yeah."
Yeah. So it's weird to be like, "Oh, I recognize you off your voice." Like it's very rare to say that to someone. So yeah, I got to meet D'Lo Brown. He was really awesome guy, and yeah, so he dropped into your space.
Yeah, he dropped in, gave great nuggets of wisdom, so to speak. The one about if you are trying to get hired, you need to be what they don't have. That was straight from D'Lo.
Yeah.
And that is, to this day, some of the best advice I've ever gotten. Because so many people will, if not carbon copies, God forbid, they'll literally have the same gimmick tweak a few things.
Yeah,
or
especially in like you see it in like the indies, right? Like,
oh,
you see it,
yeah, because they're like, well, it works for them, and the people in Podunk, Iowa, aren't going to get to see this person.
Yeah.
What is it? I think it's. I looked at a chart a few months back. It's like Wyoming didn't get a single televised WWE show in an entire calendar year.
That's crazy.
So it's like if you're a worker in Wyoming and you're thinking, oh, well, we don't get shows, so like why don't I basically take so and so's gimmick? Mm-hmm. That's great, but you have a ceiling. You can't make it any further than that person because, one, what are the odds that you're better at them than something that they've been doing for years? Mm-hmm. Not only the wrestling aspect of it, but the gimmick that they have. What's the odds that you're better than them? And then two, how long are you willing to wait for them to leave?
You know, it's funny. On that note, I very often people ask me, you ever going to wrestle again? And I always am like, no. But if the Isaiah Bronson, extremely young guy, fresh. If he for some reason prematurely retires, I will start wrestling again and do like a Southern preacher, like televangelist, like gospel kind of gimmick.
Yeah,
because he does something like he doesn't do that specifically, but he has that same mannerism of speaking in his promos, and he intercuts it with like gospel preacher footage. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, damn it! Like I had always thought something that would be awesome for a wrestler.
I don't remember if it was you that I talked with it about, but there was somebody where Far Cry 5 or 5 had just come out. And the whole thing with Far Cry 5 is that it's a Southern Baptist
cult. It's Far Cry in like the America, which is fucking crazy.
And somebody was like, man, I would just do the gimmick of like the guy from Far Cry 5. And it was unfortunate because it was still like, we were still fresh on Bray Wyatt, and I was like, well, you can't.
That's the thing. I
wouldn't
put that dark, like satanic spin on it that a lot of guys have, like Isaiah has that and all that, and Bray Wyatt has something kind of like that. I would do almost like Jim Jones, like evil cultist, but in like the peace and unity kind of way,
a more literalist, way of doing it.
When I was. And the reason it came to me is because I was in a production of Footloose, and I played like I don't know if he's like the mayor of the town, but he essentially might as well be the mayor. Yeah. He has all the political power there, and he's the preacher who has a band dancing. And I remember reading these monologues that he has, and I was like, this is so fun to just you're almost like singing, just like rhyme these things off and getting that deep tone of voice. I was like, that is so awesome. I would love to bring that to wrestling, just with this fucking like. This fucking light switches off all the time. I don't know what I got to do to charge that blue light. But anyways, you know what's annoying about that fucking light? You plug it in and it turns off, but it says it's on and it won't work while plugged in. So I got to charge.
So you can't hardwire it.
Yeah, so I try to charge it as long as I can, but I gotta fucking find a workaround for that. But whatever. Or I might just cut it completely. But anyways. I always thought that would be a great gimmick, or if Tai Chi didn't do it, I would love to do a Phantom of the Opera gimmick. I think that could be really cool, because I love to sing. It'd be hilarious to come down to the fucking ring in this full like half face mask or something like that. I just think that would be really, really fun. But yeah, I forget what it needs to be something they don't have.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
That's a great piece of advice. People are always so afraid to help set up at places like Impact, to help set up, to volunteer if they're in your area. If you have a contact, do it. If you have a contact at Impact and they're okay with you helping out, don't be like, oh, I'm not ready yet. My physique might not be where I want it to be. Help out, network, do something. Because when your physique is where you want it to be, they already know you.
Yeah.
They know that you're, one, a good hand, right? Two, that you're dedicated to working even when something might not pay off. You're willing to work through it. Because, there's obviously no guarantee going there and setting up a ring that it's going to pay off into anything. Yeah.
And don't go with that expectation, especially
Yeah, right. Don't go there and have your gear. I'm ready.
Yeah, and plus, if you have the expectation that I come here and I show my face all the time, you're gonna kind of get this fictional idea that they have something against you or something like that. Because I'm here all the time. Why am I not getting hired or booked like that? It's because you're not. The end, right?
Right.
So and I used to be as a photographer. You see a lot of photographers who you think aren't as good as you or not as creative as you, and you're like, why are they getting all this work? I deserve this. And it's like, well, because they found the client. Like, the end. Like, it's you just got to kind of do your best and look for the right opportunities to happen.
Wrestling being so much of networking and being liked by the right people, a lot of people miss that aspect of things. Like, I do not care how many fans you have. I've heard this from promoters of large promotions who do not care how many fans you have, who do not care how many people buy your merch, who do not care how many people want to see you. There is a critical mass of, you know, the matrix of, yes, they're good, but I don't like them, or I don't like their attitude, or, you know, they don't work well with others, they don't play well with others. You will kneecap yourself from getting into the places that you're going to make the most money. Some people may be legitimately okay with that. I think that probably about 50% of the people who say they are outright lying. It's cope. It's 100, like, it's cope. There are so many people who are like, I want to work for them anyway.
That's a fucking
Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't want to spend the rest of your life there, I can get that. I can actually kind of see that, right? You don't want to go there for like 2 years, bump your stock up a bit, go back to doing what you were doing, being able to charge another $100 a booking. Why wouldn't you? Like, what's the thought process there? And a lot of the people who say that, it's like, okay, I'm not going to argue with you because there's no point. It's a waste of my breath.
Yeah.
But I don't believe you. And I think that you're kneecapping yourself or handicapping yourself, however you want to put it, for the future. And if that's how they go about things, fine. But being likable cannot hurt you.
Yeah.
Being likable, especially to people, I'm not saying be an ass kisser. And I'm not saying let yourself get taken advantage of. Some people will show up at places 50 times to do ring crew, to do lighting, whatever, security. Nobody's licensed. You're not security.
Yeah.
You're a black shirt.
Yeah.
Right? And they won't ever get paid. I'm not saying you got to get booked. I'm not saying you got to get signed. Get paid. And if they're not going to do any of those three things, reevaluate. Because WWE pays extras.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I forget who it was. I think it was Biff Busick. And there's been other people who have told me similar stories where they're like, do you know how many extra gigs I worked before I got signed? You know, it's not surefire. But the other thing is that if you're working 80 extra gigs before you get signed, you've made probably a 4 months to 5 months worth of full-time pay before you get signed, because they pay handsomely. WWE pays handsomely to do extra work.
Yeah, and I think too, if you go back through like WWE, there's endless compilations on YouTube of like, here's MJF playing an extra
getting
role
pushed by Samoa Joe.
Exactly.
And
there's endless variations of those fucking videos all over the place. So like, don't go into the expectation that it's like it's owed to you like to get something, but like, just fucking. It's shocking how many people think that it like they're like above it, and I'm like, dude, you're nobody.
Oh
right.
my
like,
god,
you're a nobody right now, and I don't mean that like offensively. Like,
no, it's true though.
And it like before you can be as, and plus you can be as good as you are at the best in your field. Even if people don't know that you're the best, though, it's like, why would things come to you? And like even before I got hired at Impact too, like. I'm not shy, but I think I'm like such a fucking good photographer, and I think I'm such a good videographer. And for a while I was like, why the fuck am I not getting more work? Like, I know I'm this good because I'm a nobody. And like, I'm in Toronto, I can shoot for as many people as I can. I just have to keep working at it. And then also going back to when you were saying, don't be afraid of like, oh, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
When I applied for Impact, it said, strongly looking for a candidate who has a degree in video editing, video production. I did nothing after high school. I just grinded, right? And it had all these qualifications, stuff like that. I was like, the only qualification I have is that I own a camera and I work really hard and I take photos and videos. So I didn't even send in a resume with Impact. I was like, the thing is too, I had taken 3 years of a gap year, and I was preparing to go back to school because I was like, I'm not making enough as a freelancer to
Got
justify being on my own. So like I should probably go get a degree or something like that. And I was like, oh, you know what? And plus, I never wanted to work for anyone else. I was like, it always has to be Luke Paron Incorporated or
As
no
it
one
should
else.
be, yeah.
But then I was doing all this wrestling work and freelancing and wrestling. And then this Impact job came up and I was like, I wouldn't be working for myself, but it's what I'm doing every day anyways.
Yes.
For more money and insurance and benefits and connections. And I was like, you know what? As a last, like, I don't want to go to fucking school at all. I really don't. So you know what? Even though I'm not qualified for this job, I don't have the qualifications, I'll still apply just to see
just Hail Mary
what happens. So I did. I didn't even send a resume. I sent a paragraph about myself with 2 links to my works. And then I got an email back. This is actually pretty funny. I got an email back and they're like, hey, great work. We're really excited to work with you. And then I'm so hyped. I'm like, oh my God, Impact wants to interview with me. I looked at the beginning of the email. They said, hey, Jason. And I'm like, they emailed the wrong candidate.
Oh,
and I was like,
unfortunate.
They emailed the wrong candidate. And I emailed them back. I said, hey, this isn't Jason. This is Luke. If I think he was meant to send it to someone else. And they were like, oh no, we did send to another candidate earlier, but I'll be honest with you, I copy and pasted the email, forgot to change his name.
That's a level of honesty
that
you do not expect.
Yeah, and he's like, I was just going to change some of the verbiage around to fit you because I have to get back to like a ton of candidates today. And he's like, and just in the rush, I forgot to change the name. And I was like,
makes sense.
So I do have an interview? And he was like, yeah.
So we're good?
Yeah, and then I fucking got the job. So it's like, yeah, don't be afraid. Like, I'm not ready. Like, just do your best and take those risks, you know, because they pay off sometimes.
And even then, like, I do not think I'm ready for any major promotion to sign me. Not even close, you know? But knowing people who work in those major promotions and being in their good graces and having them ideally not have a negative thing to say about you. And if they do, as long as it's not a personality thing, because personality things is like, that takes a long time to get somebody to think differently of you.
Yeah.
But like, if the thing that they have to say bad about you is, I don't think he's that good of a wrestler, or his physique's not there, or he doesn't cut that good of a promo.
All fixable.
You can fix that in one appearance. If the appearances are 6 months apart and you've like drastically changed your physique, or you've gotten way better in the ring, much harder to do in 6 months. Or you've just like grinded and grinded and grinded and you're a better promo now than you were 6 months ago. That could literally lead to the person in charge or one of the people that has the ear of the person in charge going, I didn't think he was ready because he was missing this. He doesn't seem to be missing it anymore. She doesn't seem to be missing it anymore. Maybe we give them a shot.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's a short-term thing. A short-term thing, if you're on television, a short-term thing, being around people who can make you so much better is infinitely worth it. So people need to stop psyching themselves out about not allowing themselves to go and even put themselves in those rooms. Just show up.
Yeah, and I think too, you know, a lot of
with
people say,
permission. Permission. Do not be like, okay, Slammiversary's running at this arena. It starts at 7. Ring's probably going to be up at like 1. I'm going to show up at like noon. Don't do that. Get permission. People have done that with promotions I have worked for.
Vastly opposite effect. They'll go, oh, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Who is this guy? Leave now, never come back. And you will be talked about at the post-show dinner. You will be talked about for the next 3 weeks minimum. All right?
Yeah. And you know what's funny? On that fucking note, the only time I've ever, and I do feel kind of bad about this, but obviously, like, you know, it wasn't held against me or anything like that. I was shooting that Kobe Durst documentary, right?
Yes.
Still am. There was a Destiny show running, and it was where Kobe was going to do his big run-in with Aiden Prince. I think you were there.
The most recent one?
No. This was like way back.
No, I was at that show. Yes.
Yeah, I think
when
it was,
he beat down Aiden Prince.
I think it was Summer Heat was the name of the show.
Yes.
So I was like, I didn't know any of the Destiny crew, and I was like, oh, Kobe, I really would love to get some footage for this documentary. And he was like, well, just come and send Jeff a message and see what he says.
Oh, yeah, this was when Jeff was working on it, yes.
Yeah, and because I guess, I don't know where fucking Iceman was, but I sent Jeff a message on Instagram. I was like, hey, I'm shooting this Kobe Durst documentary, and he just saw it. He didn't get back to me, but he's super busy running an event.
Yeah,
he doesn't know me that well at all. And Kobe's like, oh, just pull up anyway. Like, I think if you ask, like, just introduce yourself, it should be okay. And I didn't know at the time. I thought Jeff was just a photographer for Destiny. I didn't know he was like vice president. So I get there and I'm like, hey, Jeff, I'm Luke. Nice to meet you and all that. And he's like, oh, hey, yeah, he knew who I was. He'd seen my work and all that. And I was like, could I shoot some stuff just for Kobe's running? And he was like, oh, with COVID protocols going on like that, it's kind of packed, but you don't want a lot of bodies back here. Limit. Yeah. And he was like, so I like, just not today. And I was like, okay, fair. But I was like, you know what? This is his first show back with fans. I was like, I really need this. So Iceman arrived, and I was like, Iceman. And I asked Iceman.
Yeah, you've met Iceman. Yeah.
No, I had never met Iceman before.
You hadn't?
No. But
what?
Iceman, yeah, he was like, Iceman's always running around, mind going a billion miles an hour. And Iceman's like, what's this? Are you shooting? Go ahead.
Sure.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
He was like, go ahead. And I said, so I walked to Jeff. I was like, hey, Jeff, Iceman gave me the okay. And then I was like, so I'll just for that run in, I'll just be like tucked in the corner. And Jeff's gonna be like, what? Who? And I walked away.
Yeah.
Only at the next Destiny show do I hear Iceman say, Vice President, Jeff. And I was like, I just totally overstepped that guy's authority and had no idea.
It could have very well ended up where it's like, yeah, I know that mom said no, but dad said yes, so like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then you run off and do the thing anyway,
so,
but luckily it didn't.
When I found out Jeff was the vice, I was fucking mortified. And not that you should ever be like, oh, he's just a photographer, but I didn't realize it was like his house,
Yeah,
I thought
he was running it.
Yeah, I thought he was just there as a photographer, like just like me or whatever, right? So then I was like, oh, I'm such a fucking idiot. I was like, I felt so bad because literally the guy was trying to run a show and I tried to overstep him. Yeah. But then I learned from that. I was like, you know what? Never assume you know what the deal is. And I was like, I fucking shouldn't have done that. So but then me and Jeff get along great every time we see him. Super talented guy, and
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, and me and him are always talking about photography, sharing each other's work, talking about upcoming projects. So he's an awesome guy. But after that, I was like, this guy probably thinks I'm such a fucking asshole. Like this guy must think I'm a dick.
There's also like depending on who you did that to. This is the shittiest thing about wrestling because you can never know how things are going to go. Because I can imagine a scenario where somebody in wrestling said, that's go-getter attitude. We wouldn't take no for an answer.
That's true.
So it's hard to tell, but yeah, play it safe. Ideally, don't just show up. Don't do that. Especially not even. It's better to show up and go. I wouldn't do this for any major promotion, obviously, but like if it's an indie, it's better to show up and go like, I sent you a message, nobody got back to me.
Yeah.
Than to just show up unannounced. Like I had to do that. The first time I ever went to Pro Wrestling Magic, I went to New York for Hammerstein on January 23rd.
Fuck, what was I supposed to go to with you? But I don't remember what. At the time, I just think all the COVID test policies were changing.
Payment testing, which was atrocious, and then also, what do you have, a Casey Musgraves concert?
Yes, the next day I had a fucking Casey Musgraves concert, which got canceled, and I had fucking second row tickets too.
However, you still don't want to pay that money to get back from New York.
Yeah, exactly. It was more hassle than it was worth, I think.
Yeah, exactly. You want to pay all the money to go down there and then also pay another like $175, $200 for a test back.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of insane about that? They're running the Hammerstein Ballroom. I've seen them run cards that I thought were like way more like big draws. I thought they were going to pull out like so many legends for this show, and I thought the card for that was like not like as mind-blowing as some of their like more random shows have been.
There was a lot online that was like, this was not the showing that it should have been. And being at the show, I definitely enjoyed parts of it. That 6-man lucha match, almost got me. Like I was busy during it, or else I would have gone. But that 6-man like lucha match, if you went to that and you were also going to be in Dallas and you didn't buy a ticket for the World on Lucha, their luchador show in Dallas, you're an idiot. That was such a good
perfect advertisement for it.
Really, really good show, especially since all of them, I believe, were going to be at that show. But the day before it was Pro Wrestling Magic in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. So I took the bus over from my hotel, and I messaged Billy Dixon, because I knew Billy was going to be on the show. I messaged Erica Lee, because I knew Erica Lee was going to be on the show. And then I was like, hey, who do I reach out to see if I can just be there? I don't have gear. I'm not doing anything. Just want to show up, show face, help out, whatever, as much as I can. Measure some guys, because I had to measure some people while I was there anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
So
I remember you were dropping off gear for people like Ali and stuff too, weren't you?
But that I had already taken care of for the most part. So it was just like, let me go to the show, let me network a bit. And I was like, who do I talk to? They said, here's a guy you message. Messaged him, didn't get back to me quite in time. So I just messaged Billy. I'm like, should I just show up? And he's like, yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. And I showed up and I introduced myself to him. I said, hey, I sent you a message. I don't know if you got it. I know you're running a show. It's super busy. He was okay with it. That covers your bases a little bit more than just like, hey, I'm here. I'm an indie wrestler. Don't worry about it. It's like, no, you still want to know. You just want to inform people that you're going to be there.
What's weird about the two is people are like, hey, I'm an indie wrestler. Like, okay, cool. It's like if you worked at like one Dairy Queen and you walk behind the counter at like a city away, it's like this, they don't know who you are. It's like, I know you do this, but like, we're trying to run a thing here. I can't be like accommodating for new faces running around, stuff like that. And luckily too, I think what you're talking about, just showing face and all that. At Impact, I'm a video editor, and now I'm kind of in a more creative role of digital producer where I can also like develop like creative concepts and stuff like that for digital content. But I said in my job interview, they said like, where do you see yourself? They didn't say like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, but it was basically along the line of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll tell you straight up, I know I'm getting hired for this, but my dream is not to be a fucking line.
The confidence.
Yeah, I was like, my dream is not to be a line editor for the rest of my life,
Oh yeah.
And
not just cut paste.
Yeah,
clip.
I was like, that is not creatively fulfilling me at all. I was like, I love doing it. I think it's fun. I like sitting at my desk, throwing on some tunes, editing all day long. I love doing that. But I was like, a year from now, if I'm still doing this, I'm not going to feel like creatively fulfilled in my line of work. Yeah. And they're like, okay, well, there's definitely a possibility to grow. And that has definitely shown to be true. Because, I'm doing all more creative stuff. But even I always wanted to photograph for wrestling. I thought it would be so awesome. And so when I saw Rebellion was in New York, I texted my boss and I was like, hey, Rebellion is only 8 hours away. And he was like, only 8 hours away? I was like,
that's nothing.
I was like,
do the drives, brother.
I was like, for a Canadian, that's nothing. I guess if there are like states that are like 3-4 hours apart or whatever, like you can go from state to state to state, like multiple states in a day.
What is it? From Maine to like Mass in like 4 hours? From Maine to Mass? Massachusetts. I don't know how to pronounce the thing. Where Boston is, you can go from Maine to that's 4 hours.
That's fucking crazy. Whereas you can drive from like the bottom of Ontario to like the top of Ontario in like multiple days.
Yeah, I know from. So I always, when Americans are like, why don't you, like, where is there to travel for you other than the States? Like, if you're worried about coming over the border, I was like, well, I can drive like 4 hours to Ottawa, 4.5. I can drive like 6 hours to Montreal, into Quebec. It's about it until I get over the border. And they're like, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, because if I wanted to go to like Calgary, that's like a couple of days. If I want to go to the Maritimes, that's like 18 to 21 hours or something like that. So my options for, leave your little comfort zone without going to a different country or the other side of your country, negligible.
Yeah, and people forget too, like 80% of Ontario is wilderness.
Yeah.
And like 90% of the Ontario population lives in like vertically like a south to north stretch of like 100 kilometers. Yeah, and then above that it's like wilderness, regional park, wilderness.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So anyway, I said to my boss, I was like, hey, Rebellion is only 8 hours away. And he was like, I was like, I'll drive there. I would love to photograph. I was like, I'm a super talented photographer. You guys have got Basil doing the fucking portraits and the ringside stuff. And I was like, and I see we always post like phone pictures of stuff going backstage. I was like, we have a professional photographer. It doesn't make sense to have them not look as good as they could. Yeah. Like, And so my boss was like, oh, okay, run it by Scott, see what he says. And I messaged Scott here's what I do not like this about wrestling, but wrestlers and people who work in wrestlings, I sent Scott this like multi-page breakdown for this kind of project I wanted to do. He just responds, see you in New York. And I'm like,
yeah, that's the very short responses.
So I remember like I wanted to do some stuff with the Good Brothers because they were doing a Destiny show.
Yes.
I sent them a big breakdown. I was like, so here's kind of the script. Here's what I'm thinking. If you guys got any input, let me know. We can change it around. Just a quick little digital thing. And it was like a few paragraphs. They just went with a thumbs up emoji. I'm like, okay. So anyways, I don't like that rest because I need to like, I don't know. I'm learning to kind of live with it because I'm like, okay, they have no objections is what I'm learning. But
that's the best. You're very rarely going to get an enthusiastic yes.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's, I have no issues with this.
Yeah, and in the creative fields, like where I'm in, like it's all about collaboration. Whereas these guys are like, I just like wrestling. You tell me what to do, I'll do it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so, you do the videoing, I'll do the wrestling. We're good.
Yeah. So it's like, whereas in my field, I can like if I'm pitching something to my brother, I'll be like, hey Dom, here's this kind of idea I had. Do you want to shoot this with me? He'll be like, oh yeah, this will work. Can we reschedule this? Like say this or that I said. But in wrestling, it's just like, okay. I'm like, yeah. Okay, true. So anyway, I went out to New York, and everyone liked the photos I took, and the fans had a great response to them.
Great photos.
And thank you so much. And the staff had a really happy response, and Scott liked them. So yeah, that was just for me asking, and Impact is very much and just wrestling in general is like squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Yeah.
So like just saying like, hey, I'd love to do this or whatever. And even I remember when I like my second day wrestling, a lot of people at Battle Arts were like quite. Like not shy, but like
reserved.
Yeah. So I was like, but you know me, I'll talk to anyone about anything. I'm a very outgoing guy. Like the first day I like went out to Buck after that. I was like, hey, thanks for the great lesson. I was like, you know, anytime you want like ring crew, let me know if you need like someone to do this. I'm also a photographer. I've got all these skills. And then Buck was like, okay. And then he was like hitting me up with like all these like things. So
which is rare because there's so many people that you can go like, if you need anything. If you have a carpool, if we're doing X, Y, Z, can you let me know? And they'll be like, yeah, of course I'll let you know. And you never hear from them.
Yeah, and I think that's like, the balance of like, you have to have work that speaks for itself too. Because I think
they have to want to bring you along.
Yeah, right? And even like I said to even Anthony, like Santino, I was like, hey, I'm a photographer. Like, let me know if you ever need pics. And he was kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. And then I sent him my website the next day, and he was like, oh, come shoot the Battle Arts show next week.
Like, oh, you're not like just some shit kid with a camera. You actually have some concept of what the fuck you're doing.
So like, so as much as we're saying like, hey, you know, be in everyone's ear, make sure you have like something to show for it, but don't be too concerned about being ready or whatever. So it's all about that fucking fine line. Anyways, some people tuned into this because they wanted to hear you discuss gear making.
I can do that.
We've been talking about I don't even know
what is it. Was it an hour?
No, we've been going for like 35 minutes.
Okay.
But so let's transition into gear make. So you're a wrestler.
Before we do that, can I go to the washroom quickly?
Yes, you know where it is.
Do I? Yes, I do.
Yes. In the meantime, I will do a bit with the camera.
Yeah, do some funny man things.
All right. Hi everyone. So Swear's just going to the bathroom right now, and I think in this little 2 minutes I have with you, I don't know what I'm going to chit chat about. You know what? You guys have me alone here, so just between us, what do you guys want to see on Luke and Friends coming forward? I have lots of content I want to do. Now would be a perfect time to put in an ad break or something like, oh, we're sponsored by the Ridge Wallet or we're sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, but I don't have any sponsors. So if anyone wants to sponsor Luke and Friends, you just let me know and I will hit you with that info. So yeah, if you guys want to see I can't do reaction videos on the channel, but if you want me to bring back book reviews, let me know. I'm reading The Terror right now. I just finished a rereading of The Shining, and that book is not as good as a lot of people say it is straight up. And I'm a fucking Stephen King mega fan, and The Shining is so overrated, I think. That's for you, Holly. Only one person's going to get that little reference, Holly. Yeah, I don't know. The Shining was a bit overrated. Great character piece, but you guys let me know what you want to see on the channel and I will make it happen. You guys let me know what guests you want me to book. You know, we had the Voros twins on, and the Voros twins I think were great. You know, I discussed that, and I already talked about why I think the Voros twins were a good first guest to have on. But so I have some TikTokers coming on. I have a guy who runs the best vintage shop in the Greater Toronto area. Gavin from Mid-Channel 5 coming on. We got so much coming for you on Luke and Friends, but I want you guys to let me know what you want to see on Luke and Friends, and I will make it happen, okay? While I have this opportunity, I'm just going to make sure everything's good, because my producer still isn't available. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, everything's recording. Everything's looking good. Yeah, I think we might just fucking lose that blue light completely, but anyways, if I had sponsors right now would be the perfect time for an ad break, but I don't have any sponsors because no one wants to sponsor me.
This you know what? This specific episode of Luke and Friends
is sponsored by Coffee Cake.
This
is my Aunt Tasha makes coffee cake, and we had our barbecue yesterday, so the coffee cake is there, and it is incredibly good. If you would like it now or later,
I'm all right, thank you. Okay. But you know what? Me and Tempest had peanut butter cups, like a whole plate of them, when we did our last discussion.
Did you put fucking pickles with them?
No, but we did talk about that. I put the Voros twins onto peanut butter and pickles, which is that's my legacy. You know, I think that blend of like sweet and sour just kind of hits that tanginess from the pickle. But
I'm not a pickle guy, so I'm not partial. It's something about the flavor of pickles. You can put it with anything that I like.
That's true. I think like sweet pickles, like gherkins, are fucking disgusting. Like those are nasty as shit. Anyway, what was I fucking talking about?
Well, you were talking about the light.
Oh no, the peanut butter cups. No,
peanut butter cups. Yes,
these things were crazy. I forget what the brand name is called, but they're like hyperallergen free. So they have like, they're nut free. They are dairy free. They are fucking like gluten free. So they're made out of sunflower oil. So it's sunflower butter with like, I don't know how it tastes exactly like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Like
interesting.
And I know a lot of vegans use hyperbole and say like, it tastes
exactly like blank. Yeah,
that's a fucking lie we say to get people to try something that tastes quite good, but not like the thing. But this shit, dude, I'm telling you, crazy.
One of my biggest pet peeves, because pulled jackfruit does not fucking taste like pulled pork, and you'll never be able to convince me that it does. I've done a blind taste test, and you can tell. Like,
interesting.
When I was in school for culinary, we were big on that. We did a whole day where it's like, which one's vegan? Yeah. And the only one I think that I couldn't tell was the brownies. Like, but that's just because the only thing you're missing is egg substitute.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
That's the only thing that's actually really swapped out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is like quite good. You know what's one that I don't think it's convincing, but it's like quite a good attempt? Mash up chickpeas with pepper, dill, and like 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. And you can chop up like dill pickles or onions or celery when you want. Stir it, mash up those chickpeas.
Vegan mayonnaise.
No, it's a vegan tuna. Yeah, vegan mayonnaise.
I was going to say,
but yeah, it makes a good like canned tuna sandwich type tuna.
Okay,
deal.
I can see that. Yeah,
is a fucking slapper. Maybe we have been going for an hour. This is telling me 28 minutes we've been recording. That is fucked. So on the second
one, yeah.
Yeah, so we were going to talk about gear. So while I hit stop on your camera and make that restart, I need to talk so I don't go to you while you're talking and there's no camera feed.
That makes sense.
Because I made that mistake on the first switch over. So there's going to be a 20-second where we have to resort to the horrible wide angle with no fucking beautiful backlight. That's the only time we need the backlight, is when we have the wide angle, because that's when it shows through the most.
Spruces it up a bit.
But yeah, and then the wide angle without it just looks like fucking shitty hardboard wood from Home Depot, which is exactly what this is. But
it's not that bad.
Anyways, I remember when I first started wrestling, you were like, yo, let me know if you need gear design. And yes. I was like, I'm good on that end because I will just spend all night fucking drawing gear anyway. But then you eventually, mid-COVID, were like, hey, I'm going to start making gear. Walk us through how that starts.
So I had been designing gear for myself. And at the time, for my tag partner, Chris Edwards. That was really it, because
I had a tag partner once. Tempest.
Once.
We never had a match together.
Oh my god, yeah, I remember you guys never even got a match.
No, because
we did our match against each other, and we're going to be the best tag team. And then it's just like...
Just kidding.
There goes everything.
We were supposed to fight Joe Mack and his fucking partner.
DeRosti, yeah.
Yeah, Mike DeRosti. And one of them couldn't show up, and it's like an hour before the show, and Santino's like, squeeze in every fucking move imaginable that you have in your arsenal in 5 minutes.
The very limited moves that you guys had learned so far.
Luckily, me and Tempest, because we're like New Japan fans, we knew a lot of like the, not comedy, but like crowd work filler spots that like you see in like a lot of Eastern wrestling, like the go to do the chop, the tap on the chest, and like all these little fucking things, or like do a little grapple, separate for a little bit, and the crowd's like, oh.
The crowd does the polite applause.
Yeah.
Yes.
So luckily we were able to feel like the first minute of the match of that, but we never fucking tag wrestled. But when we do, and you know what's funny? Tempest's fucking white and pink mask.
Yes.
He only got that made because my gear is gonna be white and pink.
White and pink.
His original color scheme was green and blue.
Yes. And then he was gonna do a black and yellow one that
Yes.
I tried to make, and I was like, I suck at masks. I'm never doing these again.
So, and then he went over to the white and pink, which was going to be for us. And then I was like, I'm just kidding. I'm not wrestling anymore. But I think he just uses that one because it was the second one he got. So the build quality was better and the design was more refined.
It is. It's so much better. I remember seeing the first one, and the first one was serviceable, but he was also saying it was super uncomfortable because it was pulling in weird ways. And he got a better one made for the second one. I think Arctic Shark made his second one.
Okay.
And
cool.
they are fantastic.
So you were designing gear for you and your tag partner.
Yes. I was tight on money at one point, and what I was doing was this was the November before the pandemic. October, November before the pandemic. I was working security for a few years prior, and I had finally gotten a condo contract through my boss. And my boss said when, he had worked with me for a few months and he knew what kind of stuff I did, like I was getting put onto weddings to guard the money box. I did the Toronto International Film Festival 2 years in a row.
Nice.
Like stuff like that because I was a presentable and personable security guard where I wasn't like a big dope. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a fucking like all business,
Not to be rude, but I imagine there's a lot of kind of like excuses for like meatheads in that industry. Guys who are just fucking big tons. Muscle guys and
And, they wouldn't know what to say when, and they don't know how to schmooze with people and you'd be surprised how much going to TIFF and going stuff like that, people do schmooze with security and they will try and strike up conversation sometimes.
Yeah.
Because if it's just you and them, standing outside a green room or standing off to the side
you want to
of
make your
the
day
stage,
as enjoyable as you can. For sure.
Right? So I got put onto a lot of those things, and he said, what I think you'd be perfect for is a condo. I don't have a condo contract, so let me get one of those. And he finally got one. Very nice condo in Toronto, 14 units. But all of them nice. I don't know, 1,500 square foot condos. Beautiful things, like $6 million plus. It was a very rich area of town. And I was the front desk. So you can imagine 14 units. I only have to patrol the floors every hour and a half. What the fuck am I doing all day? Mm-hmm. So I had my laptop there that I watched the cameras on. And I was like, hey, to my boss super understanding, great dude. I was like, if I want to do Photoshop stuff in the meantime, I was just doing it for me. Mm-hmm. I was like, can I do that on this computer? And he said, if you're the one paying for Photoshop, I don't care. It's our computer, so we don't have to worry about the building being why is Photoshop on this computer?
Yeah.
And compared to the people that had the contract before and the shit that they were doing and watching on the computer when they were on shift, I was a godsend.
This computer is borrowed from the Impact Fight Network offices.
Oh my God.
So before I return that, I'm gonna have to wipe all these archives. They're gonna be what is camera test V1 export final number 3?
Yeah,
and it'll be me going, hello, check 1 2. So I gotta fucking clean this computer up before I return it.
I would just bring in my USB key, put all my PSD documents on that, and I would just work on this computer. And I put out a thing on Reddit. And I was like, if anybody needs gear designs, here's some stuff I've done for myself. I haven't actually had many other people that I can show you because I haven't designed for anybody else because I haven't got any clients. And I've never been a fan of, I think I've done it once or twice, designing stuff for somebody who has not commissioned you to. Because it's what if they don't even use it? Mm-hmm. Just wasted hours, you know? So I got 2 clients through that. Coincidentally, both women, both from the UK. Don't know how that panned out that way, but I designed stuff for the both of them. They both got it made, and I liked how it looked, and I was very happy about it. I say they both got it made. One of them got it made a month after. Mm-hmm. The other one, I designed this in 2018, 19. Got it made this year.
Yeah, well, I feel bad. Before COVID, I had commissioned a person to do it, and then we just ended up saying, well, let's actually hold off until wrestling starts up again. Yeah. And then I emailed it back again. I was like, okay, it's this is mid 2020. I was like, I think I'm good to actually order the gear now. And they're like, great, send me your measurements. And then I was like, okay, awesome. And then COVID happened again, and I was like,
Oh yeah, we went to like another.
yeah, because there was like a week where Battle Arts opened up.
Yep.
Like, never mind.
I remember that.
So I was like, oh, okay, I'll get my gear now, because I imagine we're close to the end of the tunnel here. And then I was like, oh, never mind, actually.
And
so
who knew it would be another full year?
yeah,
Before we actually start back up.
Literally.
But I was doing that, and I designed maybe like 2 more things, and then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I basically didn't want to just like do nothing. And then CERB payments started coming in.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting $2,000 a month to do nothing. Because I got my boss. So working security at that condo, I had to take 2.5 hours of public transit because I didn't have a car yet.
Yeah.
And I told my boss, I was like, listen, the last week of going, I was like, listen, I don't feel safe. I'm on public transit. I'm taking 2 buses, a train, and the subway.
And you did get COVID and Omicron, right?
Yes, but not from
not through work?
Not through work.
Okay.
I'll explain that after. But I was like, I don't feel safe because for the week before, Toronto looked like 28 days later.
Yeah.
Like, I was on the subway and it was me and homeless people.
Yeah.
And that was like, and then a few essential workers, right? Mm-hmm. That was it. So I was like,
fucking
listen,
desolate. There was a video of guys like skateboarding down the DVP ramp, and you're like,
yeah,
what a fucking world.
When is the DVP empty?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I was like, listen, I don't feel safe doing this. Is there anybody in Toronto who we can get to take the position for a bit? I was going to be leaving that position anyway temporarily because I was going to be going to Japan to wrestle from April of 2020 to June of 2020. I was supposed to be in Japan. Mm-hmm. So March 10th comes around, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how this stuff is going to go. I don't know what's going on. As of right now, I still plan on leaving on April 1st. I still plan on April, or the week before April 1st being my last day. And then I'm going to just stay at home and see how this stuff plays out. And he said, no problem. I'll put it as if you're written off. So that, if you want to collect, if there is any pandemic relief, 'cause they were flirting with the idea of pandemic relief at the time.
Yeah.
They're like, if there is anything, you'll get it. Don't worry. So I ended up getting those. Get my first one, build a computer.
Nice.
Like a lot of people did with their first CERB check. I got my second one. I ordered gear. I ordered gear from one that was in the States. And...
Same person did your gear previously?
No.
Oh, okay.
Went to a different person. Just because I wanted to experiment with different people.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't take it personally if someone doesn't come back and they get gear from somebody else. Because it doesn't mean I did bad work. It might just mean that they want to see if anybody does stuff that clicks with them differently.
Yeah.
Right? So I did that. And I wasn't happy with it. Went to a woman I knew that did sewing. Not spandex, but that did, Russian Mennonite woman. Mm-hmm. Been sewing all her life. Very DIY woman. I go to her, I'm like, what do you think? Like, this is what it is. This is what it's for. There's things that I think are bad on it, but I don't know for sure. And this is how much I paid for it. And she fucking gasped. Because a lot of people don't understand how expensive wrestling gear is. Because it's a very niche skill. Because one, go to a regular seamstress, ask them to do something in spandex. They're going to be like, why? Why are you doing this to me? Spandex sucks to work with. And then 2, they're going to be like, okay, cool. You want me to also put foam in these things?
Yeah.
You want me to make kick pads, knee pads? What is? No, I'm not doing that. Some people just outright reject you. So... Or if they make it, it won't be that good. I've seen a lot of people. They don't know the tips and tricks. I know a lot of people who have gone and tried to cut costs, and they go to like... And while I'm sure they make good gear for whatever they do, like, I go to like somebody who makes stuff for like roller derby girls. Mm-hmm. Cool. It's not as good. Like, at least the stuff that I had seen. It's like, it was not as good. I went to someone who does stuff for drag. Cool. It was not as good.
It'd be awesome for entrance gear if you had like a drag.
Entrance gear, yes. Entrance gear, they're fantastic on. Well, but it's like in-ring gear, it has to hold it to a different level of stress.
Yeah.
And there's different materials you have to use to be very specific about like, okay, you've got to use this and it's going to be being rubbed against canvas a ton. So if you have something that wears and like it looks great when you're not touching anything, and then as soon as you scuff it up, it looks like shit. You can't have that.
Yeah.
Stuff that you learn while making gear. But I took it to her and I said, listen, how do I make this better then? Because I have time. Teach me the basics of how to sew. I'll go home, I'll work on it myself, and then I'll come back to you and check in every now and again. Luckily, my aunt was also living with us at the time. So I went to this woman, got like the ideas. I go to my aunt. I go, okay, I've got like 2 meters of spandex that I bought from Fabricland. And she's like, oh, well, how much was it a meter? I'm like, $42. She's like, $42 a meter? What are you doing? Come with me. Drags me to Hamilton.
Yeah.
We go to Hamilton. We're trying to look around for spandex. We find spandex, but like not a big selection. Base cottons, but they're like $13 a meter over there. And I'm like, okay, I was getting finessed at Fabricland, you know. So she's like,
at that time, the gas money would be still cheaper than buying.
The gas money was 70 cents.
Nowadays, the drive to Hamilton might not be the vibe.
Oh no, I go like once a month now. If I can limit it to that.
Oh, plus I live like an hour and a half from Hamilton. You probably
I live an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
maybe I live further.
Well, because I have to go south. You're probably like 2 hours. I have to go south. You just have to go straight shot.
Yeah. Also, random side note, I didn't think of this. Chris Sabin was telling me it's easy for him to drive to New York because he lives in Michigan to come up through Toronto and go around
as
that
opposed to
way.
go down through the handle and down through the lakes.
I did not know that. I was like, that is quite interesting. But anyways,
there was one. So we went there. I got put on to this place in Hamilton called Ann's Fabrics. Been there for like 40 something years. Okay. Family business. 3-story building, all spandex. And like chiffon and mesh and stuff like that. They're like
costumey type thing.
Costuming stuff. They're like, we do figure skaters, dancewear, swimwear, Carabana. Like a lot of people go to them for Carabana.
Shit. Yeah.
To think that you go to this place run by Italians in Hamilton to get your stuff to make your Carabana outfits. You're in Toronto. There's nowhere better in Toronto? No. This is crazy. The place, right? So I'm blessed to live so close to that place and blessed to have found it. So I was just buying stuff from there, going home, trying it out. I made myself 4 different sets of gear in between May when I started learning and August. So I made myself like all my beta testing and all that was from looking up patterns online, tearing apart gear that I had already had for like previous gimmicks I wasn't going to use anymore that still fit me kind of well. And then going through and learning from other gear makers thanks to Ophidian and Kate Nix. They have the Closet Champion. Closet Champion is their brand of wrestling gear that they make. They have the Closet Champion Discord. You pay through their Patreon. It's like cool. $5 US a month or something like that. You get access to the Discord. Discord's got like everybody. It's got Arctic Shark, who made Tempest Mask. It's got Nyla Rose's wife, who makes Nyla's stuff and a bunch of other people's stuff. It's got them. It's got Omega Masks, who makes Lee Moriarty's stuff.
Yeah.
It's got Daryl Apparel, a bunch of other people.
So the keys to the kingdom there.
So it's just everybody just compiling their knowledge. And if you need to pick somebody's brain, you can pick somebody's brain.
Yeah.
Kel has been the one that's mentored me the most. And helped me out with stuff and giving me tips and tricks on maybe don't use that stuff doesn't work well, and then just trial and error through May to August. Took my first commission in November.
And who is that?
Dean Hiram, Nightmare Factory student.
Oh, okay.
I don't even remember what I put out. I put out something that alluded that I would like to start taking commissions for making gear. Can't do it full time. Not very experienced. You're taking a chance on me.
Yeah. And that's changed a bit now.
Well, yeah. He was one of the first people. And
nice.
I have always said, if he ever comes back to me, his next set's free because there's so many things I did wrong on his set. I don't even know if he's still in the business. I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah.
But if he ever comes back, your next set's free because I fucked up so much shit. But so took my first commission in November, took a few more commissions after. Kita was one of the other first people I did. Kita, Jeffrey John, Gabriel Kai, DeAndre Jackson, Trevor Eon, and then O'Shea Edwards was just about the time where I said, I was designing his stuff when I was sitting, because at that time I had then started working security again. And I was sitting in the security car at one of my posts I was stationed at, sketching out his stuff. I was like, I hate it here. I need to leave. I need to stop doing this stuff. And I was just like, all right, here's my 2 weeks. I put on Twitter, because like I had a back end to subside me for a few months.
Yeah.
And I would have found something else, right? And this is still like peak COVID. This is like April of 2021. wrestling shows are still not running in Canada.
Yeah.
If they are, they're closed set and they're not like something that I can really
Yeah.
do. And Battle Arts isn't running, so I can't train.
Yeah.
So I'm like, listen, I know that stuff's running in the States. I'm leaving my full-time job and I want to start doing gear full-time. If you need wrestling gear, message me and we'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I got like 8 inquiries that day. And I think 6 of them turned into actual commissions.
Yeah.
So that paid for like a month of living doing like those 8 commissions.
Yeah, that's fucking
Because
sick.
I didn't have car insurance at the time. I did, but it was like $80 because I was a secondary on my mom's or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I wasn't paying rent because I was living with my parents. And
That's how I afforded this set.
Right? God, the amount of things I've bought. And I could have only bought because I was still living with them and not having to worry about rent.
Ride that as long as you can, folks.
If you have an amicable relationship with your parents and you can stay there and you're not a bother to them and you help out and you pay your share of rent and
If
make
it's
dinner once a
practical,
week,
don't
twice
be
a
in a
week.
rush.
Yeah, don't be in a rush. The housing market is hell. No matter where you live, if you want to move to somewhere that's nice, the housing market is hell. So just stay there when you can. Mm-hmm. But I was living like super frugally, just making gear. I wasn't even paying for wrestling training because it wasn't up yet. I wasn't going anywhere because where could I, right? And I just kept making stuff in my basement. I was just like, just make stuff. If I got enough money or if I got like a CERB check, because in February, right before I left left and started doing gear full time, I got COVID. My dad works for the Canadian equivalent, Canada Post, the Canadian equivalent of USPS.
Yes, there was that huge outbreak.
There was a huge outbreak at the plant he worked at. He came home. We all got it.
Yeah.
So I was stuck at home anyway. And I was just like, I got that CERB payment. And I just bankrolled it.
Yeah.
Just like, screw it. Just hold on to it. So going through that bankroll a little bit to use to acquire better machines, to acquire the fabrics that I needed, all these storage bins to keep it in, and all this sort of stuff. I did that, slowly building up a clientele, slowly building up to the point where I was secure, not working in security anymore. Mm-hmm. Didn't even have to take like a weekend gig. Secure, not working in it. And everybody was like, oh, well, security is recession proof, right? This isn't recession proof. I said, well, when I was able to make money with this, there was nothing I could have done in security other than toiling away for the city or working in a building or on a job site. Mm-hmm. There was no, because my main thing that I liked doing was event security. I liked working festivals. I liked working bars. I liked working, the film festivals or caravana parties and stuff like that. None of that was running because nothing was running.
Yeah, even people say like, oh, it's not like, or it's like recession proof or whatever. It really annoys when people say like, oh, this income source isn't sustainable or that's not sustainable, because it's like everything comes and goes. Mm-hmm. And like when people say like, of course, like the big thing you see is a lot of fucking guys say it to girls who do like OnlyFans or monetize like, sensuality in some sort of way like that. Like it always fucking kills me. Like, you can't live off that forever. It's like,
you're a moron if you don't think you can live on it for a good amount of time.
It's like, even if I live on it for a fucking 2 months, that's $10,000 I didn't have 2 months ago.
Right?
Like it's fucking money.
Not to mention, there are people...
And it's fulfilling, too. Like, you were saying, like, you didn't like sitting in a car doing security. Yeah. It's like, you think I could have got a job at 9 to 5 doing any fucking thing, any job I'm not passionate about. Like, I have friends of mine, like a friend of mine, he loves his job at McDonald's. He works as a manager and he's kind of risen the ranks there. A lot of parents say like McDonald's is like a great first hire.
Starter job.
Yeah. And that's true in a sense, because if it was me, I'd want to fucking blow my brains out there and put my head in like a deep fryer.
I did work there and I did want to blow my brains out.
Yeah. But then if you're, this friend of mine who like, he loves kind of like, the corporate world and he really likes business and stuff like that. He's like,
why not?
You can literally start as a line cook at McDonald's and fucking own a franchise building by like the end of your fucking tenure there.
That I'll give to McDonald's. A lot of places, this is my, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a staunch, even though I'm a small business owner, I am a staunch, social Democrat at the very least and full blown like anarcho-socialist at best. I love tearing apart people's mind as to the temporarily embarrassed millionaire, where it's, I'm not a millionaire, but I will be one day.
Yeah.
Which is why I will not advocate for change that takes any money away from millionaires, because I want to be one day. And my favorite thing to do is I go, where do you work? They go, oh, I work here. I go, okay. Who's your higher ups, your CEOs or something like that? They go, oh, it's this guy. Okay, nice. Where was he from? What do you mean? Where was he from? Did he start in the same position? Oh no, he went to fucking fuddy-duddy university and got a business degree. I said, are you gonna go get a business degree? And they're like, no. I'm like, you're not getting his position.
Yeah.
You're never getting his position. You're never working up to that point, because that's not how the corporate world works. However, McDonald's is one of the only places where it fucking does.
Yeah.
McDonald's is one of those only places that will actually give you the dream that has been sold to you, where it's work hard, move up the ranks, and maybe one day you might own a piece of this.
Yeah.
McDonald's is one of the only companies that does it. No other company that I know of, none of the big ones at least. If you can work at a Walmart for God knows how long, you will never be a Walton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll probably never own a Walmart. So kudos to your buddy for actually sticking with that, because I know a lot of people who wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So fucking anyways, you were talking about so you were fully doubling down investing on your fucking
now
gear.
I'm doubled down into it. I went from having one shitty home machine, which was a Kenmore that my mom bought me when I was 18. For reference, I started making gear when I was 22. She bought me when I was 18 because at 18 I said,
so you're like 23 and a half right now?
I'm 24 and a half now.
Oh, okay.
But like, wait, what did I say? 22?
Yeah.
I would have been, I think 22, just about to turn 23, in that range.
Gotcha.
But like, there was a good chunk of time from when I got that first machine to when I actually started making stuff, because I tried it when I was 18 and I sucked. And I was like, I don't have the time to get better at this. I wanted the machine to make gear because I originally was like, I'm not making a lot of money doing a part-time job. I'm like 18, I'm going to college, but I still want to wrestle. Yeah. I don't have this money. I want to make my own gear to save some cost, right? That's not how that works. Making your own gear is not a save on cost thing until you get really freaking good at it, and the time is actually worth the money. But I had it sitting there, so I started using it. I went from that to having a better machine, and a Cricut machine to cut out HTV, to having a Cricut machine that I was applying with an iron, to having a heat press.
Yeah.
Then I got a serger. Then I got an industrial straight stitch to do kick pads, because you can't go through foam with a regular machine. You have to use an industrial to get through like the 1-inch foam or half-inch foam that I use for kick pads. Then I got, what was the next thing? I got something else, and then I got an industrial zigzag, which I just recently got this year. This is all in my first year of being a full-time business, is acquiring all of this stuff. So that all was that was my first year, was doing that and then acquiring clients. Now I have a custom-built sewing table that, if most people were to stand up to it, it would come up to like their nipples. Yeah. Because I like to stand when I cut and work and pin and stuff like that. So I'm not just sitting all day.
Yeah. And fucking on the notes, like doing like hands-on work too. That's such a fucking good point. Like, for a while I was really into making like foam miniatures, like Dungeons and Dragons, like building like little castles and shit like that.
Oh, beautiful.
But I'd be like hunched over, like painting or something. I'd stand up after like 7 hours of like X-Acto knife cutting a fucking piece of like foam. I'd stand up and I'd just be like ruined. I was always standing when I would cut fabric. Yeah. Because you just want that good leverage. You've got to get your arm, to do, if you want to do it consistently and you don't want to constantly be inching yourself along, because that's how you get jagged cuts. Yeah. Going like all the way along the side of a set of tights, for example, you've got to get a good chunk of reach. You can't do that sitting. So even when my table was about the height of this table, I'd be standing. So if you're standing, hunching over this table just to cut all this stuff, it takes toll on your back. So this standing desk was a great investment for me. I now pay for Photoshop. I now pay for the premium membership for Cricut. Yeah. Because I can, one, write off as a business expense, but two, I make enough money to make it worth it. Because I used to pirate Photoshop, and then, shits out on you at one point. You got to go find a new torrent. I don't have time for that. Yeah.
the $10 a month is worth my time.
Yeah.
So now I do basically all of my work from home. I'm once again very lucky to have found a woman who is local who can custom print me spandex so that if there's a pattern that somebody wants, or if somebody wants a logo that is either too intricate or that I don't want to do by hand or with HTV, I can print it.
Yeah.
You know, so stuff like that. I have all this, and she also does my rhinestoning, and she has a machine that lays down a rhinestone every second.
Nice.
And then you just flip the sheet and heat press it, and it puts everything on. Versus the old way of doing things, which is a syringe of E6000 automotive glue and a wax picker, and doing them individually.
When I made my full-scale Tusken Raider Star Wars cosplay, which is 100% screen accurate, I used E6000.
the little 100% screen accurate.
It is. I used E6000 to do the fucking boots, put on the stripping around them.
Yes.
That shit is fucking crazy strong.
And that's why people used it for rhinestones. Because it's quicker than using a hotfix tool and applying for 15 seconds each rhinestone. However, if you have them on these nice tape sheets and you have the design laid out, it's like the people that I work with to do rhinestoning, they do Gymnastics Canada.
Okay.
They do Olympic people for gymnastics and dancewear and swimwear and stuff like that, putting the rhinestones on. If it's not coming off when those people are landing the way they're landing sometimes, I'm flying through the air.
Yeah.
And they've got thousands on just their chest. I'm putting like a stripe of 10 down the leg here and there.
Yeah.
You know? It's super resourceful.
I always thought if I, another gimmick that I kind of would like to dabble in if I got back into wrestling, I love the Glenn Campbell song Rhinestone Cowboy, probably one of my favorite songs of all time. I always thought like an Orville Peck type entrance gear could be really cool.
Man.
With big fucking, what do you call those things cowboys wear? Like,
chaps?
Yeah, like fucking big chaps, like a gargantuan cowboy hat, like a rhinestone jacket would look fucking awesome. Maybe even the Orville Peck Zorro mask would be fucking cool.
Oh, yeah, or even the sheet, the rhinestone drape sheet. Yeah.
Like I thought that would be a really fun gimmick.
That could be cool.
Imagine if like Adam Page was like really, really fucking gay. Like, you know, I think that could be something, but like a little edgier too. Like, so anyways, so yeah, you fucking went full time into it. Yeah. You have a ton of clients now. You're even at the point where you're turning down clients, which is fucking crazy.
Have to. And that's partially for my mental health.
Yeah.
And partially because it's a benefit to my mental health, but it's also as an adverse reaction of my mental state.
Yeah.
I have a very hard time trusting people when it comes to like work. Because if I get you to work with me, my mindset was always there's one of two things going to happen. Either you're not going to be good and I'm going to have the issue of my assistant is putting out different quality gear than me. So then people will think that I'm bad. And then I get a bad reputation. Because that's what happened to the person I ordered gear from. I ordered gear from them, and I was basically told, no, it's not just them. They have assistants. They're traveling all the time. They have assistants making most of the gear that you see. They're making the TV clients, and then the assistants are making the indie clients. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, this assistant is not TV quality. So why am I paying TV quality prices? Right.
And I understand that kind of like struggle for trust because, you know, being like, there's a time where I wanted to be like a film director full time, learning sometimes like that you have to kind of like, luckily you'd rather you be 1,000% sure of your quality than and try to make it a larger thing. Yeah. But, you know, being in like the film industry, that was such a hard thing to do, especially as an artist, to like trust that someone else can get it right. It's not that it can, but it's your vision. You want it to be so perfect. So luckily you're in a position to do that. But like, you know, when you're on a film set, like I remember my first like few shoots where I was,
you don't want to be Kubrick.
Yeah. When I was like fully collaborative, I was like, is that okay? What are your audio levels at right now? And they're like, the audio levels are fine. Why are you asking?
Micromanaging all around.
Yeah, so it's like you got to really get comfortable with that. But so you do have some clients on TV now. So we've been going for I stopped. I don't know when your feed stopped recording. I think it might be 1 minute of that camera angle. But sorry, your feed had to get restarted.
Yes.
But anyways, you do have some TV clients, and we've been going for fucking ever. What time is it there you got?
It's 7:53.
Okay, so I'll try to
So we're good on the
wrap
time
up
that
in
we-
the next 25 minutes because we got to
Yeah.
shoot something after this, which shouldn't
Yes.
take more than 20 minutes. But anyways, TV clients. I really love that new fucking jacket you did for Mike Bailey.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite pieces you've done? We're gonna go into more a rapid fire discussion here.
One of my favorite pieces I've ever done is actually the first entrance wear piece I ever. The first entrance wear piece I ever did was for O'Shea Edwards.
Okay.
Big leather look, hooded vest, studs, fur, chains, which I have yet to use since, and I'm so stupid because I used actual chain, which is so much heavier,
incredibly heavy,
than the chain
loud,
that
too.
you should use for doing clothing. But yeah, that piece I think looks fantastic on him when he wears the hood up with the mask. It just completes the whole look. That's one of my favorite pieces. One of my other favorite pieces is not a TV piece yet. It might be, because I hope he gets signed at some point. I was not sold on it at first, but Kevin Blackwood designs his own stuff, and I made him a white and black split. If you see his gear, it's white and black split. There's a purple and sort of like dusty pink line, and then it's got the AFI Sing the Sorrow logo on the back in that orange with that dusty pink as the outline of the circle. I wasn't sold on that when I saw the design, but making it, I really, really like it.
Nice.
It is such a nice piece. And then the next stuff that I am making for Speedball is probably one of my favorite things I've ever designed.
Oh, let's go. Yes. Is that Speedballs in a fucking Ultimate X coming up? That is going to be fucking crazy. Oh, I could go on about Speedball Mike Bailey for the rest of my fucking life.
Great dude. So like everything that you think positively about Canadians and then some.
Yeah.
And then also just like insanely talented to a point where he's literally, I had the pleasure of working a C4 show that he was also on.
Yeah.
And we were running over something. We were doing a scramble match. We were running over something. And comes up, and I will never forget, because I've seen him do it many times since. He does he walks around with this little pose he does. He walks around like this.
Yeah. Oh, he's got those flip-flops on too.
With the flip-flops, yeah. And he goes, what if you did it this way? And it was just like one of those things where it's like, sometimes people say that to you in wrestling. It's like, yeah, whatever. He said it, it's like, that is one of the most intelligent things I have ever heard in regards to the planning of a match that I did not even think of. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's a gem.
Yeah. And almost nice to the point where if anyone else was that nice, you would think it's almost like cringe.
You would be suspicious.
You'd be like, this is a performance.
Yeah, right?
Like,
but he was like, no, just genuine dude.
And
fantastic.
Spent all that time in Japan too, so when you go to shake hands with Mike, you get the subtle bow.
The subtle bow, yeah.
Oh, fucking awesome. But anyways, that Ultimate X is gonna be fucking nuts.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Everything Mike Bailey's doing right now is incredible. And but another question here for you. What do you think is one of the most misunderstood parts of gear in wrestling and its function or whatever?
Gear in wrestling or gear making?
Whatever.
Okay, I'll do both very quickly. So, gear in wrestling, if your gear is incongruous, if it does not match your gimmick, people will be confused. If you were to come out there and your whole gimmick is, I'll use Trevor Eon for example, Hell King Supreme, the Devil, the Black Bat, whatever you want, whatever moniker he uses, and he comes out in like pink wings, it's not making sense. If your gimmick is that you're a very extravagant person and your gear doesn't look like it costs $1,000,
yeah.
Doesn't have to cost $1,000, but if it doesn't look like it does, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not portraying what you are saying you're portraying. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the same thing as if you see a dude's like, I'm a multi-millionaire, driving a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Even you could very well be a multi-millionaire driving a Honda Civic.
That's how he saves all that money.
It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
People, and wrestling is like 50% appearance. It's how you present yourself, whether it's through promos, whether it's through your look, whether it's through your physique. 50% appearance, I'd say. Mm-hmm. It doesn't add up. And that's going to make people, that's going to break the suspension of disbelief, which is one of the biggest things in wrestling.
Yeah.
Biggest misconception with gear making.
Sorry, and really quick before you get to that, the real local example I have of what you were saying about, like, if you're
gear
a millionaire and all that.
Yeah.
It's like when you're a rapper and all your lyrics are how much money you have and all that.
Yeah.
But then when I quote you for a music video shoot and you can't afford like a $250 music video, which is already a quarter the price of what it should be, I'm like, you have $1,000 as prop money that you're fanning right now.
Yeah.
Just give me some of that. Like,
I counted, you threw at least $700 at this woman's behind.
Literally.
You can't take
it's
half
happened to me where they're like, could you do 150? I'm like,
no.
Your songs are about getting money, fucking bitches. Like, make it make sense. So what is a misconception about gear manufacturing and making?
Gear manufacturing, the biggest...
Or something you just wish people knew.
The biggest misconception, I'm very upfront with people about this.
Yeah.
If I quote you at 3 months, like if I take your commission now and I say, okay, it'll get to you in August, right? I didn't start making your gear today. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
A lot of
so
the
don't
time,
ask for pictures like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'll tell you, I won't, because some gear makers piss me off. They'll just leave you on red. And it's like, that makes people feel like you might be stealing their money.
Yeah.
If someone goes, you have an update, I'll go, no, I don't. I'll let you know as soon as I do. Here's where we're at if I have done anything. For some people, it's, I've ordered your fabrics because they had to come from out of country.
Yeah.
For some people, it's, I've bought the fabrics already and they're sitting there. I just have to finish other people's stuff before I get to you. Right? For some people, it's, I have finished everything on the back end. I've got your design formulated because a lot of people like to sketch, and sketches leave room for interpretation. My Photoshop designs do not.
Those are precise. Yeah, those are
so
exact.
So it's like, if you
got front, back, side, fine lines.
Yes.
Exactly.
If you look at your sketch and then you look at the gear I made you and you went, it's not quite how I envisioned it, that leaves room for me to be a bad gear maker. If I send you that Photoshop document and you okay it, and I send you the gear that looks exactly like that Photoshop document, which I try and match as best I can, even down to the sizing of it on the thing, you can't complain. You know? So even if it's just that, making gear does not take any time whatsoever. I can make you a pair of trunks in 5 hours if I already have the materials, if I already have your measurements, if you send me high quality logos and stuff like that. I can make your gear in 5 hours.
Yeah.
That's not how that works, because there's a bunch of people before you. And I also have to take into account life. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, I booked 2 months ahead and then I get COVID. I'm set back 2 weeks, you know? And it really pushed me bad before Mania, because I got COVID. I got Omicron around Christmas.
Yeah.
My stuff that I was making for the end of December got pushed back 2 weeks. Well, I can't make it now because I have Hammerstein sets to make.
Yeah.
And those have a deadline. I have to make those first. So then those people are getting pushed back after. And then there's another deadline after Hammerstein for DC. I got to make that stuff now. And I'm trying to slot people in wherever.
Yeah.
Like, one mess up can push people back so far. What I will not give leeway to is gear makers who don't tell people why. If you just leave people in the dark, God forbid you leave them on red. If someone doesn't reach out to you and you don't get to them, you know?
Yeah.
But if they reach out to you and you don't respond to them and tell them, hey, here's the delay, here's the issue. And then I injured my shoulder, right? I told every single person, hey, I got injured. I'm gonna be extremely slow right now. There was like 3 Mania sets that I didn't get out in time because I injured my shoulder.
Yeah.
I told every single person, even if I had bought the materials already, I told every single person, I said, if you want a refund, I will give it to you right now.
Yeah.
I don't care, because I fucked
And plus
up.
that refund too, you're not just paying for like the lack of the service that you're supposed to do. You're paying for like the goodwill they're going to give you and say, oh, this guy, like,
The goodwill, you're also paying for their time.
yeah.
Because what you got is, if you're giving them a refund, what you got was an interest-free loan.
Yeah.
If you didn't deliver them anything, you got an interest-free loan.
Yeah, and so,
So,
it's
like,
not just
it's
a
good faith.
refund. It's also the gesture of saying like, "Hey, I'm an honest guy." Like, you know, it'll make people think, "Oh, this guy's awesome." You're not going to be like, "Oh, sorry, non-refundable deposit." Like, you know, because then people are going to go, they don't want to take that risk anymore.
The only time I've ever been like, this deposit's non-refundable, is you send me stuff. I'm literally a week away from making your stuff, and you go, hey, I got to stop it. I said, okay, I'll give you back this much of your deposit, because I usually do half-half.
Yeah.
the materials are not half of the cost of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, so if I bought $100 of materials and you put down a $200 deposit, I'll give you back that other $100 because I'm going to keep the material money.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can't return fabric once it's cut.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so I'll do that. And sometimes if it's something that I messed up on, I will give partial, full refund. Sometimes I'll give a sale on the next item you get.
Yeah, or like you make it doesn't turn out exactly how it was supposed to or something like that. Yeah,
that's happened.
Okay.
You know, but never like I got your money. Sucks. Like, no, try, because if you get enough people talking bad on you, I had somebody at one point who, and this is when I was buying gear from other people not making it yet, they sent stuff for me and my tag partner. My tag partner's thing didn't have the belt that it was supposed to come with and didn't have the belt loops.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, hey, no issue. Send me the belt. I will, and the belt loops, you know, can you give me like $10 for the inconvenience of having to put it on myself?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to go to somebody and pay them to now put this on because I'm not a seamstress at the time, right? And he goes, no, you either send it back to me to get it fixed or you get back nothing.
And I said, you're the one who fucked it up.
I said, buddy, you're in the States.
Yeah.
I'm in Canada. It's going to cost me at least
You're
$20
losing
to
money
ship it
because
to
of his
you,
error.
and you're gonna spend $20 to ship it back to me. We're losing $40. I'm asking you to give me 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not going to speak bad about you for it. It happens. Now that I've done it, I know it happens. You forget a thing or two sometimes, you know? It's not an issue. And he was like, no. And I was like, man, that's really disappointing. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I have TV clients. I don't need you.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, what? Bro, every single person I've ever talked to now in America, in Canada, who's ever dealt with this guy has been like, I would never go back.
Yeah.
Because
that's
apparently
fucking crazy.
the attitude he keeps is only his TV clients are worth a damn.
Yeah.
And it's like,
but
all right.
before you had those TV clients, every indie guy that booked you made you what you are essentially. Yep. You know, they were the trial runs before you got to fucking. Oh, that's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, so I try and be the opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, going back to Mike Bailey for a second.
Yeah.
It's like the other day I saw Mike Bailey versus Crystal Moon fighting like 12 people.
At like CBPW?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mike Bailey is one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now, doing an intergender match for literally an audience of 12 people. And it's not like this was like years ago. Like this was literally like a few months ago. No,
it was
a few
even
months
more
ago.
recent. Yes. Yeah. It was post-pandemic. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, it's so cool that like, you know, like you can be so fucking talented and probably didn't need that money. It didn't, but like,
not a chance.
And plus two, I remember like, a lot of these when I was booking like clients was this, like I already mentioned this to you, but the fact that like, you know, Mike Bailey was willing to like come on the show, and I booked Mike Bailey before they got signed with Impact, and it was when it was before they could even go to the States too.
Oh yeah, no work visa yet.
So yeah, and then Mike Bailey goes to the States, explodes, signs with Impact, is fucking.
He's on every GCW show that I even.
And I'm like, oh, this guy's booking rate is about to go up tenfold. So I reached out to Mike and I was like, hey, you're like a fucking megastar now. Like, are we still like good to roll? And then I was like, of course. But like, so for that gear maker to be like that, it's like,
yeah,
dude, don't like, oh, what
and
the
you
fuck?
know, the funniest thing was I went to Mania weekend.
Yeah.
I'm here I'm taking measurements of somebody who's in NXT. Mm-hmm. One of the people that is in an associated act in NXT gets his gear from this shithead who was being a prick to me. Took everything in my power to not look him dead in his face and go, if you ever need stuff, I'll make it for free for the first two.
Oh,
just to poach a client. I was so close. So close.
Sometimes you gotta play the game, but fucking. Anyways, moving on here for you. Some indie people like to wear non-gear, like the Briscoes wear. I'm sure they have it like customized, right? But
yes,
the camo pants or whatever, or John Moxley's kind of presentation style. What advice do you have for people who prefer a more of a streetwear type look? What advice would you give them to bring their gear from streetwear to wrestler while still maintaining that aesthetic and value and budget?
Custom logos. I will put custom logos on a pair of pants for way cheaper than I will make a whole pair of pants for.
Well, that makes sense.
Right? If you send me, like, I've done it. I did it for Sebastian Wolf in Vancouver. He sent me a pair of tack pants, and he said, can you put a logo on each side of these tack pants? I said, no problem. I'll also adjust the crotch so that the crotch is spandex and not plain material, give you a bit more flex.
Yeah.
Called a gusset, what you would normally do for that. So I did that, and yeah, it was way less than making tack pants from scratch. You know, if that's the look you want to stick with. I would say the cost effectiveness, that's the way to do it, and to spruce it up is to add logos to it. The other way that I'll tell people to go is, one, like I said before, it's got to suit your gimmick.
Yeah.
It's got to suit the gimmick. If you're wearing tack pants, but you're like, I don't know, you're not like a bodyguard, a mercenary, or whatever. Like, if it doesn't make sense for you to wear tack pants, don't wear tack pants. Well, why? Why would you? Because then you look like a yarder or like a trash bag wrestler, or any of the other terms you use, right? So make sure it suits the gimmick. And also, it's a lot easier to get to a point of notoriety. It's so backwards. If you're a good wrestler, people may overlook the gear. If you're not a good wrestler, wearing non-wrestling gear in the ring will have people look even more negatively at you, because it'll make it look like you haven't invested anything into wrestling. Those pants could cost you more than a pair of gear could. They could be $300 tack pants. Doesn't matter. People are going to look at that and go, he's not really into it. He's not really trying. I've heard that said by people, like by name makers and people when I'm at shows, where it's like, why doesn't he have gear?
Yeah.
Or like, why is his gear ready-made? You know, stuff that you buy from like online stores.
Exactly.
If you want to get somewhere, ready-made gear is going to hold you back.
Especially if you're a character and, like, you know, you go to a wrestling show to see a character, not a costume, right?
Yeah.
So.
If you aren't a fully fledged character, if you're in your first couple of months and you're not getting paid for bookings and you're not doing anything and you're barely even getting booked on shows yet, I can understand using ready-made gear.
Yeah.
Ready-made gear, you can do the same thing as you can with pre-made stuff. Send it to somebody who's reliable. They'll put a logo on it. I did that for a guy at Battle Arts. He bought like the Prince Puma type tights.
Yeah.
Mikey Truth.
Yeah.
He bought those Prince Puma style tights, and I put 4 logos on it for him.
Yeah, I could never tell, right? So.
Makes it look you wouldn't know those are from Elucha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mikey's fucking awesome too. I just love that.
I love Mike. There's ways to have there's ways to make yourself stand out from the pack.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is contact the gear maker. Contact me. Contact me and I'll tell you what I can do for you.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. I think I got time for 2 more questions here. Okay. So what we can go by. Okay. I'm going to add 3 more questions. Okay. Cool. Easy one. Maybe a hard one, actually. Okay. What do you think are some of the best gears of all time, or your favorite gears of all time?
Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 26. Okay. 26 I like a little bit more than 25. It might be because the story is better and my brain is
yeah, that's true.
There's a specific any of Will Ospreay's robes. Any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them. From
especially
the past, like, 3 years.
When he got to main eventer with that giant tiger.
White tiger head.
Fucking,
the white tiger head robe.
Fucking nutty.
Insane. When I think it might have been you that sent it to me, or I sent it to you, where it was being auctioned, and I was like, yeah, you know, just because I want to look at it and like pick it.
Yeah, of course.
Another current one, Cody's jacket.
Yeah,
Sandra makes them.
The
fucking goat.
Yeah,
Sandra, who was WWE. If you ever watched Total Divas, WWE's seamstress for a long time now, one of AEW's seamstresses. She makes those jackets, if I recall correctly. They're so beautiful. They're so nice. I love the scale mail on the shoulder. And then, because it's consistent, oldie but a goodie, Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Tanahashi's robe and tights.
That robe's cool with those kind of like, I don't even know what I would call them.
Clasp in the middle.
Yeah,
It's such a good look.
That shit's fucking awesome. Okay, a follow-up question for you, relating back to your security. What is the craziest security interaction you've ever had?
This security action was specifically the one that sold everybody on me. That was like, oh, he's actually, like, he may be skinny and whatever, but he knows what he's doing. We were up in Midland, Ontario, just around Barrie. all white town. Maybe 5 people of color that I had never seen at the bar there.
Yeah.
Boathouse bar. So you can imagine right on the marina. Slower night. Guy is there. Didn't realize until after, this is the guy who was the foreman for building the deck that is on this marina.
Okay.
So he probably thought he was untouchable.
Yeah.
He's belligerently drunk, cussing out the AV guy. The AV guy's like 65.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have time for this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm out of here. You'll get your fucking TVs fixed another day. Scotty, manager, comes up to me, one of the local guys, and my buddy Jeff, who we would carpool up with. And he goes, this guy's got to go. He's not going to go quietly. Try and limit damage.
Yeah.
That was the call we got.
Yeah.
Buddy goes over, local guy, hands like the Big Show. Huge hands. Goes over, goes, buddy, you gotta leave. And he goes, I'll leave when I finish my drink. He's got a full beer. Puts his hand on his wrist. He goes, you're leaving now. Hockey fight.
Yeah.
Immediately they're hockey fighting. They go, push each other outside. They finally separate. We're like trying to guide them out. Like, you know when there's a ball of fists and shit like Looney Tunes?
Yeah.
That's how we're guiding them outside.
Yeah.
They finally get outside. Buddy pushes it. Local guy pushes the belligerent drunk off. He tries to go back in. We know that the police are on their way. I see him down the street. I go, I don't have time for this. Grab him in a rear naked choke, bop his knees out from him, literally put him to sleep on the deck.
Yeah.
Get off. I'm like, huh. Woman inside. Was that necessary? I'm like, please just shut her up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to move this guy's
It's like, no, I'm doing it for fun.
Right? I'm calming down my breathing. I'm trying to move this guy's feet so I can close the door because the OPP are driving up and I'm like, okay, fine, they can take care of it. As I'm closing this door, he's waking up. I'm like, oh, fuck. Because the other 2 guys are already inside.
Yeah.
It's just me now with this angry 280-pound man. He rolls over, looks me dead in the face of the police pull in the parking lot, goes, what did I do? I go, all right, buddy, move your feet. I got to close the door. Close the door, go inside. I'm peeking out the window as they cuff him.
Nice.
That's the craziest night I've ever had in security, is having to put that dude to sleep.
I'm sure the condo job was a bit more chill. So I always end every interview with this question. It's my favorite question to ask fucking anyone I meet. What is your favorite movie? Or if you can't narrow it to one, what are some movies you just love?
Oh, my favorite movie of all time is Inglourious Bastards.
Nice.
I love Inglourious Bastards. It was Scott Pilgrim for a long time. I'm Canadian. It was in Toronto. I loved the movie. I had the biggest crush on Mary Elizabeth Winstead, even from the Final Destination movies.
Yeah.
You know? But watching Inglourious Bastards over and over again, nothing beats the first scene.
Yeah. And it gets better every time I watch it.
Nothing beats it. The tension building, all of that is just so perfect. And then also just like one, Christoph Waltz, brilliant.
Goat,
Brilliant. Brad Pitt doing something funny, brilliant. The setting, kind of having the piss taken out of it, brilliant.
Yeah.
Like
I love
the gravity
altered
is
history.
there.
Like fictional history is so fucking fun.
Right? That's how he died?
Yeah.
In a movie theater?
Yeah.
You know? That being the altered history is nice, but also having it be like still kind of serious. But there's definitely satirical parts.
Yeah, well, it's funny how they can, because like you have the bastards who are like the ragtag crew, but then you have like, and the bastards are just these like Jewish American soldiers who are just there to fucking kill, right?
Yep.
But then you have like Shoshana, who has this like extremely traumatic backstory,
A very specific vendetta.
Yeah, and you're like, with her, you don't look at her deeds and you're like, get him, girl. You're like, oh, this poor woman. She's a fucking, like, I hope she fucking does. Where you look at the bastards, you're like, yeah, you want to just cheer. But Shoshana, you're kind of on the edge of your seat. And I think my favorite scene in that movie, other than the opening scene, is when, I forget his name, but the action hero sniper guy comes into the projection booth.
I know his name's Hans. I just don't remember his last name in the movie.
No, Hans is Christoph Waltz's character.
Is it?
He's Hans Landa.
Colonel Hans Landa. Yes.
It might be like Rolf or something like that.
But the
whatever.
sniper, played by the same guy who plays Baron Zemo in the Marvel movies.
So
I wish I remembered his name.
When he comes to the projection booth and he's like, his last attempt to kind of schmooze with her, and she's like fuck this guy, and they have that fucking shootout. It's just in that music as they fall, like everything about that fucking scene is just everything about that movie. When like now that I think about it, I think my other favorite scene actually that I might like more is when they're in the cafe and Shoshana's eating and Londa comes in and she's like,
and she just has to be
traumatized.
like, do you know who I am? And are you about to kill me?
Literally.
Yeah.
And that's every scene of that movie is like that. Like when
Every
they're at-
scene that he's in?
Yeah.
Every scene that Hans Landa is in.
when they're at the bar too and they're playing fucking Heads Up or whatever,
Yep.
like that's another, like just scene after scene after scene. And there's so much comedy too. Like when she says she broke her leg mountain climbing and Hans Landa just starts dying. Like, oh, fucking phenomenal choice.
Brilliant movie.
Phenomenal choice. Any other movies you want to throw in that list?
Django for being the exact same thing, but in
Yeah.
regards to a
Yep.
different time.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. Also, Leonardo DiCaprio does fantastic in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh crap! Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was a family thing for me.
Oh, okay.
Loving Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I've come to love it in my own right. I was in a production of it in high school.
Oh, nice.
Love it to death.
Everyone expects me to have seen it because I'm a
What is
theater
wrong
guy
with you?
and I'm into fucking drag and I
my
like
God.
dress womanly on occasion. Everyone's like, "Oh, that must be your shit," and
Rocky
I'm like,
Horror,
never
no?
got around to it. But fuck,
Oh, man.
my best friend
Don't
just got
go
a
to a
fucking tattoo
nighttime
of it.
viewing for the first time. It's overwhelming. Watch
Oh
on your
yeah,
own.
yeah,
Watch it on
and
your own.
I almost saw it at Stratford Festival because they did a production
man.
of it, but they never fumble. I put on I think 2 bad shows I can ever fucking recall. So yeah,
You gotta watch the OG with Tim Curry though. It has to be the OG.
for sure, for sure. And I once was asked to star in a production of it because a community theater was doing it. They're like, "Do you want to do it?" And I was like, I might. But then they found out I was like 17 at the time, and they're like, "We're not gonna
can't do
have
it."
you star in this. Never mind, actually." And then they ended up not even doing the show entirely. But I think if the opportunity ever comes up, I would definitely take that role because I've auditioned with Sweet Transvestite before.
Yes.
Because it's a great audition song for a character.
And also, like, if you can do Sweet Transvestite, there's a good chance you could do Frankenfurter well.
Yeah. So I think if the opportunity ever comes up, I definitely will. I'd love to be in it, and I'll definitely check out the movie as soon as I can. But those are great picks. I love hearing everyone's pick. I think you can really just, I don't know. It just, not that it shows a lot about a person, but it might show a side you didn't know to the person, or like kind of a surprising answer.
Mine is kind of spot on. I'm a guy who values humor, and both of mine are like humor and tension combined.
Like,
and then Rocky Horror is just straight humor.
Yeah, Tempests were Everything Everywhere All at Once, Batman, The Dark Knight, Scott Pilgrim.
Which Batman?
The new one, like the Batman.
Oh, the Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
Not 1980.
No. And like the Voros twins said Hunger Games, Rise of Skywalker.
Interesting.
Sonic 2, Pursuit of Happiness. Then they scratched it off.
Pursuit of Happiness.
They were like, we rewatched Pursuit of Happiness, and it was our favorite movie, but it actually wasn't as good in the second watching. And then Eddie
Hunger
the
Games.
Eagle. Yeah,
Sonic 2, Pursuit of Happiness.
exactly. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah,
Fuck
right?
him. Anyways, it's been awesome to sit down with you to learn a bit about you and the gear making procedure. My dad specifically asked what your favorite gears were. He was curious. And so I'm glad you had some interesting choices for that one. The Tanahashi, that was a good fucking answer.
It's so
very
good.
underrated.
Like, there's so much to it, but it's all cohesive.
Yeah, exactly. But fucking anyway, thanks for sitting down with me today, everyone. This has been Sway Archer. Do you have any projects upcoming, or are you taking on commissions, or anything you want to say to the audience before we head out?
Watch more wrestling. Watch more good wrestling. If you are watching wrestling and you find that you don't like it and you're confused because everybody else is like, I really like this, you don't have to like it. There's a lot of wrestling that people are like, I love this. How don't you love this? Why don't you like this? Might not be for you. But watch a decent amount of wrestling. Try and broaden your horizons with watching stuff. I don't care if it doesn't have a following. Try and watch stuff from other places. Go on YouTube. Look up wrestling. Who knows? Maybe you'll find speedball wrestling in front of 12 people and it'll have a good match. You know, you never know you're going to find good wrestling, and not all of the good wrestling is on TV or on iPay-per-view. There's a lot of good wrestling that is local. Find a good local indie. And maybe you'll see some stuff that I've made.
Brilliant.
Or me.
Speaking of you, socials
at Sway Archer on literally everything.
perfect. Love when it's cohesive.
Right? I made sure of it. If you go on to my Instagram, you can find my gear Instagram. It's a bit of a mouthful. It's at Archer Wrestling Apparel. But if you go to at Sway Archer on everything, I have it linked everywhere. So it's easy to find through that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys had a great time. And have a lovely rest of your day, folks. And I'll see you next time with Gavin from Vintage 905, owner of one of the best vintage stores in the area, clothing collector, vintage expert. See you next week, folks. Thanks so much.